Hi, I'm Tiffany Domena. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my website is howtoentrepreneur.org, and my mission is to help you grow a business from idea to enterprise. So if you or someone you know wants to start or grow a business, definitely stop by howtoentrepreneur.org and check out the free coaching. It's 7 days where you can get your questions answered about how you can get more customers and sales using the internet. So definitely stop by howtoentrepreneur.org and check out that free coaching. So today I want to talk to you. I want to do a Q&A. I've been asked several questions, and I wanted to answer these questions for all of those who watch this channel because I thought these questions would really be helpful for a lot of you. And so that's why I decided to do this as a Q&A and answer some of these questions that I've gotten. So now the first question is how to come up with more content ideas when you feel you've run out. So how to come up with more content ideas when you feel you've run out. So for me, I come up with content ideas by using different tools. One tool I like to use is SpyFu. And SpyFu helps you to do a competitive analysis and see what keywords your competitors are ranking for. I really like to use that tool. You can check it out at howtoentrepreneur.org/SpyFu. You can also check out Pinterest. I like to go over to Pinterest and type in keywords or type in topics, look at my topic, entrepreneurship, and see what content is working and what content is not working. And I'll get ideas about what the readers there might be looking for. I do the same thing on YouTube, and I would recommend that wherever you plan to market your content, that you take a look at the competition on that platform to see what type of content is working on that platform. From there, you can kind of discover what the audience's intent might be there, and that can help you to get ideas of what they might be looking for, what they might be interested in, and various things like that. So you definitely want to look at not only the titles, not only the content that's there, but also how much engagement, which posts are really getting a lot of engagement, likes, clicks, shares, and things like that, and use that to analyze what the user's intent, what's popular content, what's not. You can use also platforms that are e-commerce platforms like Amazon. You can take a look at content in your niche, and you can see what content has lots of reviews, what those reviews say. I've heard lots of people say definitely take a look at the 3-star reviews, because 3-star reviews are where the people are, there's something that they are still looking for, but they got some value out of what was there. So with the 3-star reviews, that's where people are not being too brutal and just saying, mean things just to say mean things, but they are still wanting or not completely satisfied with the purchase. So that's where you can get some ideas about content that you could make. So for me, I actually don't have the problem of running out of content ideas because I've done so much research at this point on my niche that there's lots and lots and lots of content that I haven't written yet. And I have drafts of content that'll probably take me years to complete because I can see the demand for content in my niche is so great. So the same thing I would recommend for you is to saturate yourself in your niche, start reading books, taking courses, going to live events, networking with your target audience, identifying what their pain points are, what things they struggle with, and identifying what you can use, how you can use your content to satisfy those pain points, to connect them with solutions, all of those things. So this can help you to eliminate that problem of not running out of content ideas. So hopefully that answered your question on how to come up with content ideas when you feel like you've run out. So the second question is, do you have a good niche idea? And so this person that actually asked me about whether or not they have a niche idea actually had the idea of a personal journal where they share their experiences, and so they like to write about things that they've experienced in life in a way that, because their desire is to use their story to help other people. And I've seen blogs that are written as personal journals, but I want to warn you about one thing, and that's that most people do not get on the internet and search for a specific person's story. So unless you already have an established reputation, most of the time you won't find people who will go on Google and type in your name and ask about your childhood or ask about your net worth or those things. That usually comes after you have a level of authority and reputation. So in order to write content that would be found online, you have to think about the end user and what they would be looking for instead of what you want to share. So instead of writing like your personal story per se, you would look for what they're looking for online. Are they looking for something that you can connect to your personal story, and is there some way that what they're looking for that you can use your story to help to connect them to a solution and their end goals? So that's how I would use my story if I wanted to make money with blogging. If you want to just journal just to release yourself to a healing experience, that's completely different. And journaling typically is used for that. You would just write down, your experiences. You can go through grief. You can go through all kinds of different trauma. Journaling is a beautiful thing to do. But when you are looking to run a business or you're looking to make money, then you have to think about, instead of what you want to share, you have to think about what's in it for them. And that's how people search online. They don't search for, compassionate stories. Now, on social media, that could be completely different. On social media, people are looking for what their friend is doing and things like that. And so you can gain interest from your personal story, from sharing all that stuff, because there's people on social media that would like to be nosy and know what's going on. But in regards to people using the search engines, which is where majority of traffic comes from online, those people don't go online typically and search for a story unless it's a celebrity or a person with quite a bit of clout. So I would focus on topics that are in demand that you can use your story to tie to, and that can be really helpful. So next question. And also in terms of how to identify you have a good niche idea, I would say having a good niche idea has several components. One component is that the niche is enjoyable for you, that you would enjoy writing about it. The next component is that the niche is in demand and that there will be people searching for content or products and services to solve problems within that niche. And the third thing is how you'll monetize it. So if you plan to make money, you really have to plan how you'll monetize it. And some niches have higher earning potential than others. And so you would really want to pay attention to what products and services you can use to monetize that niche if you plan to have aggressive financial goals. Because if you And you also want to pay attention to the demand as well, because if you choose a lower demand topic and the products are also low price, then it'll be really hard to achieve financial goals. But if you choose a high demand product and the prices are still low, it might take a longer time to gain traction, but you still have potential there. Now, if you choose a high demand topic and the prices are, you have a tier of prices where you can have high, medium, low, and possibly even recurring, then there's a lot of income potential there. And those are the niches I personally like to choose, are niches that have good earning potential, that I personally really enjoy and that have some connection to my overall life purpose, and niches that people have a lot of problems and need lots of solutions within those. So that's how I choose a niche. So next question: how can you post once per day and balance researching? So I disclosed in a previous video that I was able to write 700,000 words in my first year of professional blogging. And I've written books. So at this point, I've written more than 15 books. And each of those books has several thousand words in it, more than 17,000 words in each. So the way that I balance my output with researching is by for one thing, I have typically a scarcity, and I think it's something that we should always have, is some type of enforced scarcity. Grant Cardone says stay broke, and he uses this to describe how we use money. He says that when you feel like you have a lot of money, then that's when you start to spend frivolously. But when you feel like you have a little, then that's when you're really extra careful with how you spend each dollar. So he feels like even after you become very wealthy, you need to put away a lot of your money and keep yourself where you feel broke, so that way you stay hungry to get more. And I say the same thing in terms of using your time. So if you feel like you have a lot of time, let's say, for example, for those of you that didn't know, I was in the military for 9 years. And let's say instead of the PT test saying that, or physical training test saying that you had 2 minutes to do your sit-ups and push-ups, let's say they say you have all day and let's see how many you can do. Now, a lot of people still may not produce more even though they have more time, because they feel like they have more time, so they would procrastinate and instead possibly do less push-ups and sit-ups over the course of the day. But when they have 2 minutes, they feel like I only have 2 minutes, so they have to push out the push-ups and sit-ups as fast as they can. So I feel the same way in terms of writing and researching. For me, when I started professionally blogging, I had a newborn and I also had a son that I was homeschooling. So these things took up a significant amount of my time. And so I was mostly writing when my daughter was asleep, when my newborn was laying down for a nap. And when I would write, I really didn't know how long she would be napping for. So I felt like I need to pump out as much content as I can in this short period of time. And that scarcity, I believe, really pushed me into producing a lot in comparison to other people who they don't have a lot of responsibility, they don't have a lot of pressure, so then they don't get that same experience. It's kind of like how they say you mold iron and things like that, and how you sharpen iron. You use a lot of pressure in order to sharpen it. So I feel the same way, like that pressure And having that sense of scarcity can really help you. You can inflict that scarcity by using a timer, sitting down with a timer and saying, okay, I'm going to see how much I can write in this period of time. It's the same way with fitness. They do the same thing. Let's see how much you can run in this period of time. So I feel like that really needs to be done. And the same thing with research. A lot of times when it comes to research, it goes past what's necessary to know in order to complete the assignment, and it goes into kind of like lollygagging and getting off topic. So for me, when it comes to research, a lot of times I'm researching while I'm cooking or while I'm doing something else, and really filling up myself with information. I do a lot of reading. I might take a course. I might, watch YouTube videos, read different blogs and things like that. And when it's time for me to sit down and create the content, then I make sure that I have a lot, like it's easy for me to write the content because of how much information I've put in. Another thing that makes it more efficient for me is that a lot of the topics that I write about, I feel a level of experience with them. So that experience means that it adds efficiency onto my writing process. So experience for me, and I've practiced writing a lot. If you calculate how many words I've written just in my books, that's a lot. And then you add up that with how much I've written on my website just in the first year, then you can see I've written well over 1 million words. And so Malcolm Gladwell, in his book Outlier, he talks about how just by way of repetition and continuing to go, you gain efficiency and you get better and better at things. So I say that's a huge recipe to my ingredients, to my success with that. But for you, I would say, just keep studying and put that scarcity on yourself, and keep challenging yourself to do better than what you did before. If you give yourself an hour or 30 minutes and then you keep taking a break, and then you do increments up to 4 hours, because so if you do increments, let's say you do 30 minutes, see how much you can punch out, do another 30 minutes, see how much you can punch out, do another 30 minutes, see how much you can punch out, and keep taking breaks in between, then you'll be able to see what level of productivity you have, and you'll be able to challenge that level of productivity with time and improve it. So that's another thing too. You have to challenge yourself. You have to get better. Okay, so I think that question is answered. So the next question is, should you journal as your blog post? And this is something I touched on in the previous question. Should you journal as your blog post? Now, journaling, like I said, journaling is typically done for personal healing. Is done to just vent and to disclose what you know, what experience you have. And it can be very interesting for people, loved ones, to read, because they might want to be nosy in your business. But for the public, most people wouldn't find interest in reading someone's journal, because it doesn't necessarily have the what's in it for me factor. So just think about, books that you've read, and you only really go and read a biography if you can connect with the person, or you know that this person reading this biography is going to have some value to you. And so I would say journaling as blog posts is probably not a good idea for someone without a reputation. The best thing to do would be to identify what's in demand for other people, create what's in demand for them, and you'll find that over time, as you're creating value for them, that they'll be more and more interested in your story as well. And that's when you can start to share more about your story. You can integrate your story into your lessons to them. So if let's say, for example, I'm writing an article and it's a chicken Alfredo recipe, and I have a story of when I burnt chicken Alfredo and it just turned out as a disaster. I can share that story. I can say, if you're here, it's likely you're looking for a chicken Alfredo recipe, and I can tell you, you don't want to have an experience like I did a couple years ago. I made the worst chicken Alfredo ever, and I want to save you from that experience. So I've compiled the best recipe. I've gotten lots of success. So you can see how I used my story integrated into that, but it's not like the title of it is My Story with Chicken Alfredo. Instead, my title would be more what would appeal to the end user. It would be like, you know, the chicken Alfredo you couldn't go to sleep without, or something, you know. So you want to make sure that instead of writing journal type titles, that the titles are catchy for the end user, that the content is catchy for the end user, and that it delivers on achieving a goal for them. A lot of times when we journal, it doesn't necessarily have a goal in that post or, you know, piece of writing. So that's another thing to be mindful of, is that each blog post or each article or each book chapter has to have a goal. So by the time they finish with this chapter, or by the time they finish with this blog post, they should be able to do ... So yes, your story can help them achieve that goal, but you have to be mindful of helping them to get to the next step in their life. So question 5, will your experiences as a marketer be valuable to the end user? So this question was from a person who's a marketer, and they are thinking about journaling their marketing experience, and they're hoping that that journal of their marketing experience would be useful to other people. And I think that their marketing experiences could definitely be valuable to end users, but again, you want to make sure that those end users, you're addressing what's in demand for them, and you're tying your marketing experience to achieving their end goals. So that's all I would have to say about that, and it kind of ties into what I was saying for the other questions as well. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. If it was, please give a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, where I do product and service reviews as well as growth strategies, and in this case, it's a Q&A. But the goal of all of these videos, all of this content, is to help you grow your business from idea to full-time income, and from full-time income to enterprise. So if you'd like to see more like this, definitely stop by How to Entrepreneur and subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming videos. So that's all I have, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.